I'm gonna show you now how to factor a trinomial, okay? But before I do that, I just wanna review some terms here. So if we're looking for the a, b, and c value of a trinomial, okay, it has to be in order from x squared to then x, and then just your constant, which is the number just by itself. So a is the number in front of your x squared or whatever your variable might be. So since there's no value in front of the x squared, we'd still look at it and say there's one x squared, so a is 1. B is the value in front of your x, so b is 7. And c is your constant value, your last value. You shouldn't have a variable next to it, and in this case it's negative 10. Okay, the sign always goes in front of it to tell you whether it's negative or positive. Okay, so in order to do this, what we're going to look for, okay, this is kind of the same setup. Okay, the circled problem here is what we have. I've already worked some of it out. All right, so we need to figure out what multiplies together to give me our c value, which is 10, but also adds together to give us our b value, which is 7. So I've already gone ahead and done all the factors of 10. Okay, so the things that multiply to give me 10 are 1 and 10, 2 and 5. And I just need to figure out which of those adds together to give us our b value, which is 7. Okay, so obviously 2 and 5. And also we know that what's going to give us x squared would be x times x. So we're just factoring, figure out what two things multiply together to give us that. So I'm simply going to write in here x plus 2 and x plus 5. Because those were the numbers I chose, 2 and 5. 2 and 5 multiply together to give me 10, but also add together to give me 7. Okay. Same process. I used some similar numbers, okay, but this time we have negative 10. Okay. Now I did just go ahead and factor and write just the factors of 10. This is a shortcut that can be used. Okay. So obviously to get negative 10, one of them is going to have to be negative, only one of them. Now I could write all of these, and I'm going to go ahead and just do that real quick for the sake of it. I'm going to make this one negative, and I'm going to do it again. One, a little tricky to do when you're holding the camera and trying to write. Let's see. There we go. 1, 2. Okay, so these are all the things that multiply together to give me negative 10. So negative 1 and 10, negative 2 and 5, 1 and negative 10, 2 and 5. Now this time I'm looking for what adds together to become positive 9. Okay, so I see my answers right here, negative 1 and 10. Now I could skip some of this and just kind of think about it, and I'll show you that trick on the next one, okay? But for now I just look at it and go, okay, it should be negative 1 and positive 10. So I'm simply going to write in here x minus 1. Whoop. Oh, I wrote the 10, so I'm going to make that a plus. X plus 10 and x minus 1. Yeah, so obviously it doesn't matter which order you put them in. Okay. 2 more. All right, I've got negative 10 again. All right, again, looking for what do I multiply to get my c value, but adds together to give me this b value. The b value I'm looking for is negative 3. Now, so I know one of these is going to be negative, but when I add things together, remember, if you add a negative and a positive, you will keep the sign of whatever you have more of. So in this case, I have more negative. The answer should be a negative. It means my bigger numbers should be the negatives. Because if I make the smaller numbers a negative, when we add them together, we're going to get a positive answer. So I just go ahead and make the bigger numbers negative. Okay, now that's a trick that I use to just make things simpler. Okay, again, we're still using a positive and a negative because that will multiply together to give us a negative. And if we add these two numbers together, 2 and negative 5, that will give us negative 3. So I'm just going to write in x plus 2 and x minus 5. And when you multiply all that together, you're going to get your original answer. Okay. So last one, I changed it just a little bit, changed our C value, okay? So again, what multiplies together to give me 12, but also when added together is going to give me -8. So 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 7. Now you might be like, none of that when added together is going to give you -8. Okay, so in this case, you have to see and go, oh, what else could multiply together to give me a +12? A negative times a negative will also give me a positive. So I need to make all of these negatives. Okay, so a negative times a negative is a positive. Okay, now when I add them together, I can go, which one of these gives me -8? So -2 plus -6 gives me -8. So those are the numbers I need to use. So I'm just going to write in x minus 2 and x minus 6.